Hello, welcome back to Drinking with Comics. My name is Sean,
I'm Mike.
and we are still drinking. I'm drinking this last ever Flights Brewery's Pecan Porter. Mike, what are you drinking?
The New Glarus IPA. I don't think it even has a weird name or anything. Employee owned, is that the name of it? Chuck and Receiving was all like, I need an IPA. And they were like, sure, Chuck.
Sure, Chuck. There's a lot of number ones flooding the market right now, and
Yeah, which is cool.
it is cool. And a, a lot of new stuff just from the big two. I mean, a lot of number ones that the prospectors.
Speculating, speculating, driving up the prices and you're masturbating.
You ass, motherfucker, you couldn't rule the market.
Are getting in on.
Yeah, they're mostly getting onto the image stuff because of print runs. You don't want to invest in where, like Marvel and or DC is like, oh, if you order X amount of Lobo number one, we'll give you another X amount as a promotion, like
Right,
because we
right.
want you to sell it, So they've been doing these like bundle things. I don't know the full detail of it, other than we got extra copies of Lobo one, so it's not going to
Okay.
go up in value, but people will read it because we will push it.
Right, right.
Unlike Nectar and White Skies, that are like, woo, market crazy. Let's go
Right.
sell that on eBay. Yeah.
So,
But yeah, hey, new number ones.
new number ones. So we're gonna talk about one Marvel and then three DC. So
Well,
DC's got their all in. So they're
yeah.
doing their next level of all in, right? Which, yeah, I mean, sure. I like saying next level more than I like saying all in because that's still really dumb. Um,
Next level.
I have no background with Lobo. I mean, I've obviously been aware of him from the inception of the '90s. To me, it
Well,
just
here's something fun that you're going to have to put a picture up. It's going to blow your mind if you know nothing about Lobo. He originally appeared in the 80s and he wore an orange purple bodysuit. And
really,
it's the first appearances on the cover of Omega Man number 3. Post the picture here.
yes.
And yeah, you'll see he's like riding his bike and he's got this, he almost looks like he's a member of the Kiss Army. Like he's more glam rock than he is.
I believe there's a
um
Kiss. I believe somebody refers to him as like a Kiss reject in this, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
yeah, so he kind
Um,
of started off with that. It wasn't until Keith, I'm not 100% sure on this, but it wasn't until like 1990 when Keith Griffin and Simon Baisley, I'm probably saying that wrong,
no, I
but
think it's Beasley.
Beasley. They reworked him into the more biker, iconic leather jean jacket guy that we know and love today. Um, and really went with the whole almost British comic, like Tank Girl
Yes.
artwork humor that these guys are good at. Um, which I like that this book really captured that. It felt like I was picking up a Keith Griffin and Simon Baisley comic, even though it wasn't written by Keith, it was written by Scotty Young and art by whose name I
Jorge
can't read
Corona,
on here.
who did Transformers for the with
Okay.
Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh yeah, that's right. Felt just like I was picking up a story from that. Whether or not it was good or not, up to
You
you.
know,
If that was something it's definitely a vibe you have to be into, and I'm not sure if I'm still in that vibe or not.
well, that's a really good point though, because I didn't love this, but like also I'm reading it from the perspective of never reading a Lobo comic before. It's just kind of goofy and like, oh, okay, it's a bunch of visual gags and him reiterating his kind of catchphrases or whatever. But it
Yeah,
is I've read some British stuff from like 2000 AD and that era, and looking at it through that lens, maybe I can appreciate it a little bit more.
yeah, because he's knocking. Um, a lot of it's like talking about the what was it, Clawman versus Dead Guy, which is obviously
Yeah.
Deadpool versus Wolverine, and the two major corporations like that. A DC being bought out by Paramount, forming and making more this is a commentary on that, or Netflix buying it and becoming more
Yeah.
um or definitely the Warner Brothers thing being passed around like I don't know if I can even say cheap whore on a fucking Ferris wheel. I don't know. Like a lazy Susan and a cheap whore. I don't know. It's very sad. But, um, yeah, it does have all the social commentary that's going on currently, which, like those British comics were famous for.
Mm-hmm.
It picks up, so you haven't read it. I really did like the getting into the comic dirt itself, where he goes over his origin.
Mm-hmm.
Those were all the pre-52 greatest hits. They mentioned his paramilitary Christmas special where Easter Bunny takes a hit on him to kill Santa Claus. They mentioned him turning into a woman, which was like Lobo's back. Shut the cover up there. You'll see his hot ass on that. The When they show his babies, they have the teacher at some point. I think the first ish trade is him. He thinks he's the last one of his race, but it turns out
Right.
the teacher there that you see with the funky kind of Frankenstein Marge Simpson's hair.
Yes.
She's technically the other last one, so he's got to like go kill her or save her. I can't remember. It's been what, 1990, 20, 30 years since I read that book, so I don't
Wow.
really exactly remember 100% what's going on. But the recap did a really good job of me going like, oh, this is everything I liked about Lobo. And also threw a jab at when New 52 turned him into a pretty boy. Which is when I stopped reading comics. Yeah.
Then there was a whole situation that I'm still not sure how to describe, so we'll just gloss over that few minutes of my history.
Oh, so accurate. But yeah, I think when I first read it, I got to that point and I was like, oh, this just recaps everything. And I kind of put it down for a couple days. And I was like, yeah, this isn't really, I get where they're going at. Scotty Young's doing a good job of like picking up that vibe of what the original one was like, but I've kind of outgrown that kind of silly humor.
Mm-hmm.
It's been 30 years, but then, you said you bought it. So I was like, well, I better finish it. And I finished it and I kind of loved it still. I'll still
Okay.
check it out. I don't know how long I'll stick to it, but, we'll wait and see. But
Right.
yeah, overall, it's what I expected from a Marvel or a DC comic pre 52, which I've said this a million times on here. And for those who haven't heard, I stopped reading comics at New 52 because New 52 freaking ruined everything for me. And this feels like there was no New 52 outside that little mention of it. It felt like I was picking up a comic from 20 years ago, pre 52, where I was like, this is what I want out of a Lobo book. Lobo's doing what Lobo should be doing.
Right. Right.
And I'm just gonna throw this out there. All three of these books, same thing. They were picking up right where New 52 fucked everything, and we're delivering everything I like about DC Comics again. And hats off to them for actually like taking this old bitter man here to back to what he liked about comic books. Like I'm definitely going to be reading all three of these again in the future, at least
Okay.
issue 2, and see where it goes from here. And I'll go on about the other two that I like. But overall, I'm just very all in. No, next level. Like I'm all in on this next level. This Batman. Like this is 4 DC books, regular continuity DC books, not this absolute, not the Black Label. This is what I loved when I was reading DC Comics, and I'm getting back
Good.
into it. I'm excited. Yeah,
That makes me happy.
yeah, it does.
And it tells me they're doing and they're doing something right. And they've spent
Yeah.
20 years. They've spent 20 years doing something wrong. So I'm happy they're doing something right.
Mm-hmm.
And to segue, like we talked about this, like Greg Rucka taking over Batwoman, and I don't know really anything about Batwoman other than I really like visually, I really like the aesthetic of her costume and her look. And I had read like the first trade of the J.H. Williams the third. I don't remember it at all. I remember it being gorgeous, and I remember liking it. I don't remember the story. So reading Batwoman number one that just came out with Danny doing the art, I'm completely like starting from ground zero. I don't really know anything, right? So I feel like this book, I'm assuming, is referencing events of that last book, if that was indeed the last Batwoman book, which I think it might have been, because that was like New 52 era, if I'm not mistaken.
So yeah, like Greg Rucka and J.H. Williams were doing Batwoman, which is like one of those books that I loved.
Oh, wait a minute. Rucker
I
wrote
don't.
that one?
He wrote the original one.
I didn't
When New
realize that.
52 came around,
Okay.
I think he quit DC. Something happened. I think he quit DC. So they had I don't know the full detail. I read some article at some point in time, I think when we were doing the Lois Lane thing, that he was like, he quit DC on purpose. He was very mad at the way they treated him and the fact that, he's going back to them doing this was one of the things that, like, and the Lois Lane comic was referenced.
Okay, so wait a minute. So the one I'm thinking of, which came out in 2011, J.H. Williams III wrote that. And
So
that's
he did the new
that's volume
52.
one.
No, so there's a Detective Comics
Oh,
run.
got it. Okay, got it.
And Greg Rucka wrote that with J.H. Williams. And the art's fucking phenomenal. The book is phenomenal. And I think they just released that in a DC compact. And then he took over because, yeah, they just released it as DC compact. I know that for sure. Effigy.
Oh, I got to get that shit.
Yeah, so it's $9.99. Pick that up. That might be a good primer for this. Because I do like this book, but it is very, like, for me, like I said, it's been 20 years practically since I read a DC book. This is me going back to where I left off 20 years ago. I'm sure there's a couple of things in there, but you can't have. When they redid New 52, you couldn't really have the Cult of Cain or the Cult of Book of Cain, I think is what it calls, or the Book of Cain or the Crime Cult. Mm-hmm. 20 years. I'm remembering vaguely here, which is the cult in this book. That was like a big thing.
Oh.
But you can't have a cult on Darkseid if Darkseid was barely around like he was in the DC universe previously. But yeah, it's the crime cult, if they would, is what her major enemy was. Alice, if you didn't catch that, was her sister.
Yeah, that was her sister, yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of introduced in that Detective Comics run. So it kind of, to me, it picks up where Greg Rucka left off a little bit. Like, here's a couple of things that happened. I'm assuming maybe happened in the comics, maybe not happened. But we're referencing where she kind of left off the time gap where Greg Rucka wasn't writing it. Now he's back, so he's just picking up where he left off, hopefully. Finishing off what he wanted to. Okay, so then that explains a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that was one of the most intriguing things to me about this whole thing was there's this whole cult based around crime and Darkseid. Although I don't think Darkseid was originally mentioned in the original Detective Comics, which also sprung out of the original 52 series, where her and the Question, who I think you first met in the Lois Lane comic, they used to date. So,
okay.
Yeah, I love this book. It was just where I left off. It's like, this is why I read comic books again. Like that pre-52, when things were like, to me, was like a golden age of DC Comics, outside of being a golden age.
Right.
With Grant Morrison kicking ass on fucking Batman, Jeff Johns on Green Lantern, one of the best Green Lantern runs you'll ever read. Greg Rucka on Batwoman. I mean, there are these guys, Mark Waid on various other books. They were all just doing this third generation of heroes that were coming up that was really good, and then DC just nicked it.
Yeah, pull the plug.
Yeah. And then it doesn't make sense having her as Batwoman in a new 52 universe because it's a legacy character.
The story is actually it did just come out in DC Compact. It's called Batwoman Elegy, not Effigy.
Okay.
$9.99. So I'm gonna get that because that will help with this because I enjoyed this, but I was like, I know there's shit I gotta read to understand what's going on. But nonetheless,
Okay,
so
cool.
not the best entry point. Not the best entry point for new readers. However, that's probably why they released the $10 version of the pre-existing story, right?
Yeah.
So
highly recommend
that's fine.
Getting it because it is gorgeous artwork. I almost think the DC Compact won't do it justice, but you could tell me how that works.
It probably won't, actually.
I'm
it probably
sure
won't.
we will review that book in the future.
Yeah, we definitely will.
I definitely have it in trade somewhere downstairs.
But I did really like, so they treat Darkseid is referenced in this. He's not a character, but like this cult.
Like
it's very Cthulhu Lovecraft-ish. Yeah. Well, he basically is, but like it definitely had way more of like a Lovecraft cult vibe.
Yeah. Because Darkseid in the comics, you don't really get. They tell you he's a new god, but you know who he is. He's just a villain.
Well, you don't see like a cabal of humans on Earth like secretly worshiping him and trying to bring about his resurrection or open a portal or whatever. So I really like that, and I like this. Just kind of the overall setup is like she's just battle damaged. I mean, she's in a fucking asylum essentially. Like she's a broken person. How we got from where she is in most of the book to where she is on the last page, I was like, I didn't understand that, but I'm not making a judgment on that. I feel like the second issue will definitely, hopefully, give us something. But it also occurred to me, and I don't see how this could be a spoiler because, as I've already said, I'm not really that familiar with the story that comes before this, but I don't know that that's actually. So Kate is the name of the character, right?
Yes,
I don't know that that's Kate.
At the end?
With the yeah, I don't know that that's Kate. And I'm wondering, is that the sister?
I wonder too. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Like we'll have to see if that's her as Batwoman or not, but it would be very interesting.
Yeah, it would be. So yeah, I enjoyed this, and other than just as a warning to readers, I think it's not a great jumping on point, but it is because you'll get the number one, continue on with it if you're interested, and you can get for $10 the Elegy story that I'm going to assume is going to set this up, as you said. So, I mean, that's pretty good. I have a feeling I'll read it. I'll be like, oh, now I'm caught up, but I also love, J.H. Williams,
It's very hard.
The art.
J.H. Williams is like up here, and no
amazing.
offense, Danny, but you're kind of here.
No, none. It's just a different thing. It's a different thing.
But I like it. It works. It works very well. It reminds me
I agree.
of like the art that we had in the Lois Lane story, where it was kind of gritty and dirty, and not as pretty as well cut. So that works. So yeah, I'm very excited about this. It's nice having like I said earlier, it's nice having comic books to read again, written by people I like. And Lord knows, as we talked in part one, there's fewer and fewer of those artists I like every day.
I know, right?
Did you read Deathstroke?
I didn't, but tell me about it.
So I like Deathstroke if you want to check it out. I'm also like old school Teen Titans fan. Deathstroke was the main villain in that.
Okay.
He's half black. He's missing an eye, so half his mask is black. This it was a good action story of him having to bust into. He has an assassination plot. He's a hired killer, so he has to assassinate this person. He's hired to assassinate this person. He's bitching about how he doesn't know who the person is. The person talking to him is, his. He has Wintergreen, who is his Alfred, if you will. Okay. Because he's essentially Batman. He's a badass assassin, one of the best assassins in the world, DC Universe. He's got healing factor. Um, he is the inspiration for Deadpool, if you didn't know that. Yeah. So he's got some of those powers. He's got 3 kids. One of them is Rose, who's currently still alive. I think his first kid died in Teen Titans #2, I think. That's how he's introduced because he has to avenge his kid's death. And then Jericho, who's like a kind of like a cool character in the Teen Time comics. I don't know if he's alive or not, and I think he might be in Marvel.
Okay. Okay.
Jericho has the ability, he's a mute, so he can't talk. So, but he has the ability to possess you. And when he possesses you, he looks at your eyes and takes over your body, and his body jumps into your body.
Okay.
That's his power. And there's a scene in the Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man trailer where like they do his power basically, and I'm just kind of curious who's ripping off.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's have you seen the new Spider-Man trailer?
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, but
Yeah, so you know
I
that
don't
scene
know. I
where
mean,
the girl's in the flipped over tank and she looks at the guy and the guy looks up, he looks at him and you see he clearly something happened to him and then he looks up and clearly something happens to that guy. Go back and rewatch it. That's essentially
Okay.
Jericho's power, him jumping from person to person.
Okay.
Which is what got me thinking about it when I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, I want to read Deathstroke now. Go, thanks, Marvel. You got me back into DC.
You would recommend it?
Yeah, I'd recommend it. It's a solid read. It's, him assassinating someone. Something happens at the end. I'm not going to tell you what it is just in case you decide to pick it up. But it's just him breaking into this building to kill this guy. And then there's a twist. And yeah, it's good.
It's not written by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong, is
it
it?
is not. It is written by
Okay, then it's not. No, okay.
Who wrote this? I don't know. Hold on here. Tony Fleece. Tony Fleece.
Yes, Tony Fleeks, who did Stray Dogs, and he does that the Feral, the cat book that I missed. It was Stray Dogs. I loved. He was on. Was he on this show or the Horror Vision? I don't remember. He was on one of my shows at some point via Zoom during the pandemic. A really super nice guy. And he's writing a lot now, so I'm happy for him. Yeah, that's right, Tony Fleeks.
Yeah, if you like him, check it out. I think you might dig this. It's a solid read.
Okay.
He did a really good job. I knew the name, but I didn't know what he did. So, yeah, it was three new #1s from DC. All of them very good. So, hats off to you.
Would you say all 3 of them are
all in?
Next level?
Oh no, I'll say they're next level.
No, next. Are they all in?
I'm
okay.
all in.
All right.
Did somebody
say
level.
DC Comics? To wrap it up, you read something, and I think this was sold out of my store. I forgot about it, but I looked through the wall, and I don't remember seeing it. And you mentioned it, I forgot about it, so I'm assuming it was sold out. But you read Sentry #1.
I read Sentry #1. It to me, it was Paul Jenkins wrote it. It's I don't know how many Sentry books he's done since the original one. And I'm not going to tell you anything more about it because I think you'll dig it. We'll definitely cover.
Okay, it's been a long time since I read Sentry 1, and I don't own Sentry. You gave me Sentry.
Did you like Sentry?
You gave me that. I read it. I did. I didn't think I would. I did like it. It's one of those things in the disintegration of my previous life. I don't know what happened to it. There's plenty of stuff like that, but it's just gone. So I don't have access to it anymore. I mean, I'm sure well, I shouldn't say that because a lot of Marvel Knights stuff. And in fact, now I'll bet you any money I know what happened to it. I'll bet it. A lot of Marvel Knights stuff goes for big money because I don't even remember why. It was like the trades only got printed for a short time or something. Yeah. I don't remember. But so I would have to look. I vaguely remember it. It breaks the fourth wall. It brings Paul Jenkins. It does a Grant Morrison thing, right?
Yeah,
like there's a sequence where Paul Jenkins comes in and talks to the.
I don't think Paul Jenkins talks to you in it. It's a psychological.
No, he didn't talk to us. He talks to Sentry. They bring him in.
I don't think they did in that one.
When they, yeah, they did. I remember it because I was like, oh, somebody's been reading Grant Morrison.
Okay, it's still it's in print again.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense. It would be because they launched a new book.
Well,
So, of
there's
course.
that, and he's in the Thunderbolts movie, which
Oh,
wasn't
that's right.
anything like the Sentry in the comic book, but kind of. Um, but this is essentially, if I had to sell it to you without telling you, he has a psychological breakdown. That's the whole point of the thing. This is kind of him relapsing, but instead of um him like, because when he goes evil, there's the void, which is his counterpart, which is part of him.
Yeah.
They're kind of mixing together. So in this, like, and this is a little spoilerish, in this, the void goes to Kingpin, and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking take everything away from you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to, you know, um it's Kingpin being a dark ass Kingpin in this. He's like threatening to kill some dude's cousin, and he barely knows, like, I'm gonna kill your cousin when I'm done with this. And then he's just like, no, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to take away all your money. And Kingpin's like, please don't. He's like begging, like, what can I do to make this right? And he's like, there's nothing because I hate you. And just walks away.
Wow.
So there's an element of the void is kind of being good in this. And then we're learning that the Sentry might have done something bad.
Okay.
And
Oh, that's
all wrapped
interesting.
around the fact that his dog. Sentry has a dog called Watchdog, if you remember. He's like a little wiener dog. He was in the original one.
I vaguely remember
Yeah, I
this.
think we'll definitely have to reread Sentry and this when it's all said and done in the future.
Yeah,
But
it is
it
readily
was,
available. Printing number 2.
yeah, it's 4 issues. I saw that. There's definitely a new trade. I have the original. We'll definitely cover the Sentry in the future. Repeating myself,
Okay.
sorry. But yeah, this is
That's
such a
okay.
good. It felt like the sequel we should have gotten from this more psychological, um less, I want to say they did more Century books where it felt more superhero-ish after that.
Right.
Like he was a broken superhero, but he was a superhero, where this is like, he's got his support group.
Yeah.
It felt more like the original than the previous sequels that I've ever read. And I think a lot of people
Okay.
overlooked that and didn't think of that, because I know we didn't order heavily on it originally. And you and me were talking about this, I think, when we were looking at the previews, like, oh, Century's back.
Yeah,
And we
we
were kind
were.
of like,
Yeah.
oh, Century's back. And then we saw Paul Jenkins wrote it, and we're like, oh, Paul Jenkins wrote this. This could be good.
Yeah, you specifically
It
said you
is
might read
good.
it. And
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical because I know Marvel does that thing where, like, you know, okay, so when Captain America Civil War, the movie came
Yeah.
out, I remember they in Marvel Comics all of a sudden they had a Civil War 2 series. I was like, fuck, give me a fucking break. Fuck you.
Hmm.
Fuck you. Right?
We
Just
didn't need a Civil War
put out a
too.
new thing. No, it's. I mean, no,
Yeah.
I didn't read it. I'm confident that I'm right criticizing it. Fuck
You're right.
you, Civil War 2. So that like gave me some pause where it's like, okay, yeah, he's in the movie recently or whatever. Like, I just felt like, is this just them kicking a fucking dead horse
Yeah.
just to get the name back out there? But maybe not. I mean, Paul Jenkins came back, so
Yeah. And the art's
I don't
not as
know.
good as Jay Lee's, but solid, just like Danny's art on Batwoman. It's like, it's not the
Right.
same gloss, but it fits the mood perfectly. And yeah, it's a little sad at times, which is what I expect out of Century, because it's not a happy story.
Okay.
Um,
Right. It's
yeah.
not.
So yeah, I thoroughly like 4 new books this week. All of them really good, and probably will read the second issues on those and definitely finish some of those. So yeah, it's an impressive week in comics this week. I'm
Yeah.
cautiously optimistic about the world of reading.
Cautiously optimistic. That is the word.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's the next level.
Next level.
And this is Drinking with Comics, and I'm Sean.
I'm Mike.